how are you going to look me in my face and tell me that you haven't received the checks when I have proof that you signed and deposited the checks back in April? My old management owes me over $20,000, and at this point, who knows when I'm gonna see that money. In the spring of 2025, I signed with an agency. This was my first talent agency as a content creator, and I was drawn to them because their whole ethos was making sure that women of color were paid fairly. Little did I know I wouldn't be getting paid from that same agency a year later. When I first started working with the agency, I liked it. My main experience working with the agency was working with my talent manager, who was great. However, in February of 2026, my talent manager was abruptly fired, which made me and some of the other talent kind of raise an eyebrow as to what was going on behind the scenes, especially because this was around the time that payments started to be delayed as well. So since my main experience working with the agency was working with my talent manager, I decided to leave that agency in April of 2026. April was around the time that a lot of my brand payments started to be due, so I started inquiring about where these payments were. I was told that the agency's old finance team had mismanaged some of the funds, and therefore the agency's books were being audited and payments were having to be reconciled, and that's why payments are delayed. Okay, fine. Annoying, but I can have some grace for that. However, in May, I was told that at least 2 of my brand deal payments had already been reconciled and were owed to me, and it's August and I have yet to see that money. I haven't even gotten to the craziest part yet. Stay with me because this is where it gets juicy. In June, I have a Zoom call with the CEO of my old agency. This call is to go over all my brand deal payments, and I asked specifically about 3 different payments from 2 different brands. The CEO tells me that the brands have sent physical checks, but the agency has not received those physical checks, and therefore the agency cannot pay me. Actually, let me not ramble. Let's just roll the tape.
That was supposed to be a physical check, so both the first were physical checks that I never got. Never got through the mail. So that's something that we've been actively seeking on because I just have not gotten any physical checks, and they're saying that they sent it, and they're fighting back that they don't want to resend it if we didn't actually get the check. But I haven't, so I can't deposit it or send it anywhere.
So I was like, you haven't received the checks. Let's go to the brands and see if that's true. I went to the brands and asked for confirmation of payment, and what do the brands do? They send me signed checks with the CEO's signature on the back, showing that they did in fact receive the checks and have deposited them. 3 checks they told me the agency did not receive. I was giving grace about the whole reconciliation process, but at this point, how are you going to look me in my face and tell me that you haven't received the checks when I have proof that you signed and deposited the checks back in April? Allegedly, this reconciliation process and delay in payments was supposed to be for payments made to the agency prior to this new third-party finance team coming on board and taking over the old agency's books. However, I had a payment made to the agency in June, and I have yet to see that money. And at this point, I'm scared because I have another payment routed to the agency, and I don't even know if I'm going to be seeing that money anytime soon. This is such an unfortunate situation because it's not only affecting me, but so many other creators and talent managers that were signed to this agency. People rely on this money to help them make a living. Imagine going to work and not knowing when you're going to get paid. But I will say I've learned so much about this content creator business and signing with an agency. I hope from this I can help educate people on things that they should look out for and practices that they should do if and when they sign with an agency. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know and maybe we can get a part 2.
Good morning, you guys. This is the story time on how I survived a client from hell. Now, let's just start with, this is a very early morning. I'm just dropping my son off at school. And I want to get this out because I know I said I'd do a story time, but I'm very busy. My voice is scratchy. It's been a very busy week. I've had so much going on. But first, before I start, I want to give you guys like a little backstory about myself. I am a hairstylist of 12 years. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I had a salon there for 5 years, and I relocated me and my son to Atlanta, Georgia. And in August 3rd, it would be 2 years that I've been here. So it's been 2 years since I've moved me and my son to Georgia. So let's go ahead and fast forward. So this entire situation started with a consultation with the client at large. So she booked for a consultation with me about a week ago. And I just want to start by saying sometimes as women, we have to really trust our gut, our intuition, because I knew from the first beginning of our conversation that she was kind of one of those problematic clients. I've been servicing clients for a very long time now, so I can pick up on like really quick, like little behaviors that let me know someone is problematic. So in the consultation, I was running 5 minutes behind schedule. She sent a text like, hey, consultation starts at 3:20, it's 3:25. I FaceTime her, start the consultation, and she instantly, as soon as we get on, and she's like, our consultation started at 3:20. And I said, you know what, I apologize. I'm running behind. There's been a lot going on. I just moved to Alpharetta, Georgia 2 days ago. Also, the day before that, my puppy fell off a balcony, my brand new puppy. She had to have surgery. She broke 2 of her legs. And so I'm like, I'm sorry. I have a lot going on, but I wanted to make sure I could do this consultation. So in the consultation, we spoke about her desires and her needs. She is a client that has like very short hair, and she also had a really big bald spot, about 2 pinkies together, widthwise and lengthwise, in the middle of her hair right here. So about that large of a bald spot. She said she had a relaxer that caused her hair to come out in braids or something like that. So I advised her that I think the best thing for her would be a closure behind the hairline, because she doesn't have to have her hair out, things like that. And she told me she did not want that because she thinks that's a wiggy look. She doesn't want anything wiggy. She wants something super natural, like a sew-in. I told her I would opt out for a sew-in. I don't want to put any more tension on her hair. I don't think her hair needs that kind of tension. I think if we're going to have your hair out, maybe a quick weave, because I can bond hair over the spot, but the spot is like right here, so it's really hard to have a deep parting when she has that spot. But needless to say, I told her I would work with her. Her energy on the call was that she was trying to be like nice, but she just was one of those clients that just didn't want to kind of get off the call. She's saying this and saying that, kind of just contradicting herself all the way around. But hey, sometimes it happens. So moving forward, I tell her that she can book online and give her the booking link. But I didn't hear from her for days, which was fine. I didn't go looking for her, but she sends me a text same day like, hey, can you get me in? I think it was the same day or the day before, like, hey, can you get me in? Do you have any availability? I text her, I said, hey, actually, yes, I do have availability for 4:00 today. Would you like to come at this time? She says, sure. I say, okay, on my books, I don't know why it's not showing up. Go ahead and book for any appointment time in the future, and I will reschedule your appointment till today, because I can do that on my end. She says, okay. She does it. She sends me the screenshot. I tell her, okay, here's the address to where I'm located, and I will see you at 4:00. Mind you, I'm also with a client, so I'm working, handling business, but my phone is going off. And when I'm getting done with my client, I see that it's her that's been texting me like, hey, like confirmation on the address. And she's just double texting me, sending me a lot of like messages, like wanting to get clarification on the address that I just sent. And then I see I had a missed calls from her, and she's like, hey, just trying to clarify appointment for today at 4. And I'm like, I send her a like on the confirmation that I said, see you at 4, here's the address. I'm like, yes. Anyway, so she shows up, but mind you, all of this gave me bad vibes. I was telling my friend, I'm like, hey, I just feel like she's giving me really like bad vibes. She's just being kind of weird and overbearing, and I just know these kind of clients, but I didn't listen to myself. I kept moving. She comes in. I meet her at the door. She has on a robe. And she comes in, and I'm like, okay, like, hey, so I'm looking at her hair. I'm like, how do you want it? She's like, it really doesn't matter. Like, whatever we can do, because mind you, she does have the bald spot. And I'm not trying to shame her for having a bald spot. Like, I've dealt with alopecia before, things like that. So I'm not trying to shame her about having a bald spot or anything like that. But she had a bald spot. And a nice size one that's like right here. So I'm like, where do you want your parting? She's like, it doesn't matter, just like whatever I can get. So I'm like, okay, I'll work with it. I'll figure it out. She really prefers a side. So I was like, I can do it on the side. The part just will be a little shallow. It can't go all the way back, but it can be right about here, because the spot is right there. You can't really do much. That's why she needed a closure. So then she goes on to tell me, like, that's fine. Like, usually I wear wigs, all this stuff. And it's starting to click to me during the appointment. Like, you wear wigs. You told me during the consultation you don't like a wiggy look. But you're telling me now all you ever have worn was wigs. But, of course, it's not clocking to me because I'm just like, whatever. So we go ahead. We're talking about the fact she's a mother of 2 boys. I'm telling her about my situation, my son, my dog, all that's been going on. Good conversation. She apps out of talking and starts watching like a show on her phone. Whatever, good. We're getting done. We're wrapping up. I give her an amazing quick weave and turn her around. I finish the service. I turn her around, take her cape off. Like, what do you think? And she's like, I don't like it. And I'm like, okay, like, what don't you like about it? And she's like, no, it's nothing that you've done. It's nothing that you've done. It's just like, I don't like the thinness of it. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I don't think it's too thin. You got 3 bundles. And she's like, yeah, well, I also just don't like the length. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, you chose a 14, 16, 18. The length is the length. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of like, I mean, I get it, but I really don't get it. But I'm like, okay, like, I'm like, well, what would you like? She's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's nothing you've done. Like, I don't like it. And so I'm like, okay, well, like, that's where I start offering, like, maybe you're saying it's too thin. Like, you can always get another bundle and come back tomorrow. And she's just like, yeah, but I just don't like it. And she just keeps saying, like, I just don't like it. And I'm like, okay, so, like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I don't know, I don't like it. Like, and I'm like, okay, like, so do you want to come back tomorrow? Or, like, I'm just getting kind of confused now, because I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't like it, that's fine, but, like, you're not trying to come to a resolution of any kind. And so she's just like, yeah, I just don't, like, why, you just seem like you're getting kind of frustrated. Why are you getting frustrated? And I'm like, well, because I'm trying to come to a resolution with you, and it doesn't seem like you're trying to come to a resolution. And so then I start to then pick up my phone, and I'm starting to record. She's like, yeah, I actually don't care if you record. Like, I don't care if you record. Like, I don't like it. And I was like, hey, at this point, I just want to come to a conclusion with you. I don't want to keep going back and forth. I understand that you don't like it. I don't know how you, like, want to move forward. Like, how would you like to move forward? Like, we can add the bundle. You're saying it's because of the thickness. Like, I can't change it. She's like, yeah, but in the consultation, you should have told me about the thickness of the hair and all that. I was like, but that wasn't the goal of the consultation. You wanted to address your bald spot and what would be the best service for you having that bald spot. And that's what we tackled, not the fact that you don't like thin hair or full hair or, like, none of that. Like, that's not, like, my issue. If you had that issue, then we could have addressed that, and I could have given you different recommendations for hair. But if you're in Atlanta, she's using Barry's hair. Everyone uses it. The hair is fine. But come back for part 2. Okay, so we're back, and so mind you, yeah, she's saying, like, I don't like my hair. I just don't like my hair. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but, like, you're not giving me anything to work with here. You're saying it's not my fault, but then, like, you just don't want to pay me or whatever. So I'm just kind of like, okay, like, wait, you don't want to pay me? She's like, yeah, you can just, like, take it out. You can do a full takedown. And I'm like, I'm not doing a takedown, but that's probably where I should have clocked in. It's just that I've been doing hair services for 12 years. I've never had anyone run out on me. I've never had anyone not pay me. So this isn't anything that I'm, like, on guard too much about. This isn't my type of situation. This doesn't really happen. So I'm like, no, we didn't book for a takedown. This is a quick weave. It was bonded in. It's not safe to pull out tracks that we just bonded in. It'll take some of your hair out. That's not a safe option. And so she's like, yeah, well, I'll just take it out when I get home. And I'm like, I mean, okay, that's fine. But, like, how would you like to, like, handle the service? Like, how would you like to pay for your service? And she's just like, I just don't think I should have to pay for something I don't like. Like, and I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you definitely have to pay. I gave you a service. I stood on my feet for 3 hours to accommodate you. And you just don't like that your hair is not full, which has nothing to do with me as a stylist, as you've stated. So why would you not pay me? And so this is where I'm like recording and I'm starting to get frustrated because I'm like, wait, what? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, you're a grown woman. I'm not thinking that she would even be on this kind of time with me because, mind you, she's like a 40-year-old woman with 2 children. So I'm just trying to like understand. I'm not thinking that she's really not going to pay me because I'm just like, maybe she's just trying to push the envelope. Anyway, she's basically saying like she doesn't feel comfortable paying. She doesn't like her hair. And I'm just like, okay, so what should we do? I'm like, should I get the authorities involved? Like, do we need to go there with this? And she's like, I mean, you can call the cops if you want. And I'm like, okay. So I call the cops. And so she's like, and I can call the cops too. So she picks up her phone while I'm on the phone with the operator, the cops, and she's like calling the cops too. And I'm just standing there like, this is so goofed out. Like, this is so goofy. This is so just beyond. So anywho, she's calling, I'm calling, we're both on the phone. The cops like asking me questions, all this stuff. I just like, keep calm. Is everyone safe? I'm like, yes. She's on the phone on her side asking the cop like, can I just like leave because I don't like feel comfortable? Like, I might as well just leave. If you guys are already on the way, like, I might as well just leave. And I'm like, why would you leave an appointment and you didn't pay? Why would you leave? And so the operator told me like, don't interact with her, don't talk with her, like it'll be hostile, don't make it hostile, the cops are coming, like, just chill. So boom, cops end up showing up. And, you know, I let them in. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. She's not trying to pay for her service. She's like, that's not true. That's not true. And so we're stepping outside. She's like, can you tell her to stop recording me? I don't want to be recorded. But I'm like, you just told me you don't mind being recorded. You are not trying to pay for services. So they separate us. They take her outside. They keep me inside. They're asking for like my side of the story. What happened? I'm telling them like, I don't know. I just literally did her hair. She's saying she doesn't like it. She's saying it's thin. And it's not my fault that it's thin because I didn't provide her the hair and I put all the hair in that she asked for, but she's saying she doesn't want to pay me. So I'm just hoping you guys can help us resolve this situation and you can get her to just pay me and let her go about her business. So they're out there talking with her. I'm just like sitting there waiting and they come back and they're like, hey, like, I'm sorry, but like, you know, in order for us to make her pay, we have to show intent that she planned on not paying. It's like when you dine and dash. We can only like prosecute her if we can show intent that she showed up with the intent of not paying. But because she booked online and paid a deposit, that is giving some funds. So this is more of a civil case. You would have to take her to court. So that's kind of where it like ended. They're like, basically, you'd have to take her to court, blase, blase, blah. I'm like, okay, like, whatever. So I'm just like, wrap it up. Like, as soon as they said that, I was just over it. Like, this is stupid. So, you know, the next day I post the thing. Everyone's like talking about it. And so I get a call actually from one of the officers that was there. They're like, hey, she's saying that like, that you held her in a room. You locked her in a room. She couldn't get out. Like, is that true? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, absolutely not. There's actually no lock on this door. She was never locked in a room. Nothing like that. And so she's just saying all these crazy lies. And then like also she's saying like, you posted about her online. And I was like, yeah, I did post a video. And they're like, you know, that's okay. You know, she didn't pay for a service, but she's just saying like, she wants you to not post, but we can't enforce that. So we just want you to know, like, that's just what she's saying. And they're like, you're definitely free to post. Just don't contact her. And I'm like, obviously, I would never contact this woman. Like, I have no reason to. So I just want to know what you guys think. That's what happened. Like, what do you guys think I should do? Should I take her to court? I do have a person quite close to me that is attorney. I also have attorney clients, and I don't really take this there. I'm just not the person for a lot of drama. And everyone's like, oh, you should take full total balances before starting clients now. And I'm just like, you know what? I've serviced my community for 12 years and I've never had this happen. I don't want to punish clients for things that just a bad apple has done. I've had really great experiences. I'm not like the perfect stylist by any means, but I try to show up very professional. I don't play with people's time. I don't play with people's money at all. I give quality services. I've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, people are in their right to not like their hair. But when you're out here just fishing to get a free service, it's just very low vibrational. And just pray for the lady, you guys. Pray for her. If you know her, let her know. Like, that was very low. And I'm sleeping on it. I'm still trying to figure out like how I want to handle this situation. But you guys let me know, what would you have done? Would you want to take it to small claims court, or would you just move on from this situation? So yeah, let's chat below. But I gotta go. I gotta get to work. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll chat soon. Bye.
Signing to this influencer talent agency was one of the worst mistakes that I've made in my creator journey so far. Let's talk about it. Over the past weekend, you have probably seen videos like this come out, and I can imagine you will see more. Many people have been affected by this. A crazy situation. Even the things shared, it actually goes so much deeper. Many details have been left out because at this point, legal action will have to be taken. We have been so graceful and patient, maybe to a fault. Like at this point, it is being taken advantage of, but I'm done being nice. I need my money. Do you hear me? I need my money. 2025, I signed with this influencer agency, and during this time I was meeting with a lot of agencies, kind of scoping things out. It was on my vision board of 2024 to have a agency, so a very exciting time. This was a big milestone in my creator journey. It was like that physical manifestation that I was on the right track. Got hit up by a few big agencies, but I decided to go with this one, a much smaller agency, because their selling point was that they advocate for Black women. The CEO of this company had worked in the industry before and saw the pay gap and the erasure of Black women, and she was here to close that gap. Claimed to work closely with the creator. Essentially, they have more time and dedication to you. This, of course, was really appealing to me because I always said if I was going to sign to an agency that I never wanted to feel like a number, that I wanted to be cared for as a person outside of just like my content and making money. Of course, looking back now, probably a very naive thing to say to a talent agency. At the end of the day, they are a business and they just care about the money. For a good duration of my time with them, everything was fine. I had a great talent manager. I had several strategy meetings to help me reach my goals. I didn't have a lot of issues, and I had even gotten to know the founder of the agency personally. We traveled together, shared a hotel room with this lady, my +1 to Cowboy Carter. At the time, I thought she was like a cool person and had my best interest. I didn't suspect that she would do anything shady towards me. Things started to get a little sticky around fall, winter of 2025. One of the things that I always had a problem with was that I didn't have visibility of like when the brands were paying me, when the agency got the money, when I could expect payment. I was like, is there anything that you guys can do to kind of give us that sort of visibility? There was always talks of building this database to improve visibility of finances. The database was never got access to that. Around this time, they started changing the payment schedule, so now I was waiting even longer to get paid. December of 2025, I was like, okay, I'm not re-signing. My contract ends in April. I'm just gonna wait it out in April, but I don't think I'm re-signing because I don't like all of the switcheroos, and it's just, I don't see when my money is coming in. That would create uncertainty and stress for anyone, not knowing when you get paid. And as creators, we rely on this money to pay our bills. Note that I'm leaving out a lot of details, but let's fast forward to 2026. They send out another email saying that they're changing the payment schedule once again, and that they have brought in a new accounting team. This accounting team, part of their startup process is to do a thorough investigation and audit of the book. Another email goes out. At this point, I'm really sick of the emails. They were always these robotic, ChatGPT, lots of words to tell me that you don't have my money. You don't have my money. You don't know where my money is. And I wish you would just be more forthcoming about that. Also, I want to mention that when she was changing the payment schedule, she also changed around, is it the distributor? She went from QuickBooks to ADP. And when she made that switch, I was finding myself having to follow up more with her about where my money was. And I was just getting back a lot of excuses.
Oh, ADP has held up the money. Oh, they're not processing it. Oh, we have to wait next week because they don't process it on this day at this time.
At the time, time, I still believed her. I wasn't suspecting it was her, but a third party that she always blamed things on. Anyways, the new accounting team is saying that all of our invoices are being audited and all of payments are being put to a stop until May 31st, which is the expected time that they complete this reconciliation auditing process. May 31st rolls around, nothing. Silence. No money. Another email gets sent out. Now we are changing the timeline from May 31st to actually, we don't know when we'll pay you guys your money. Like, can we get any sort of ballpark? Just give me an estimate. And it's to be determined. It's indefinite. Well, it sounds like I'm not getting my money. At this point, I am like, who have I signed with? Who have I entrusted all of this money to? I'm getting really scared. Also around this time, I'm putting the timeline June of 2026. I start receiving messages from other girls that were previously on the roster or on the roster, and I start reaching out to other people that I knew were on the roster. They're all like, where's our money? I haven't been paid in months. When I'm speaking with all the girls, first, I'm glad that I'm not the only one going through this, but we started sharing our stories, connecting dots, and we were like, oh, this is actually much bigger and serious than we thought. My last brand deal that I closed with them was in February. I am personally waiting on money that was paid out to them in April. We are now in August of 2026. Still no timeline for reconciliation and when all of this will be sorted. Me and the girls are very frustrated. We don't know when we'll see this money, if we'll ever see this money. There is a possibility that this agency could file for bankruptcy. They owe so much money. I'm not laying down. I'm still fighting for my money, but I have made peace with the possibility that it is going to be a very long time until I see this money. It has affected my entire summer, the way that I show up on my platforms. It has completely disoriented me. When my money is funny, I am simply not well. I think what is most heartbreaking is that I thought I knew this person and I completely trusted them with my money and my business, and it feels like I have been left out in the cold, and this person has taken little to no accountability for what she has done. She has not been a woman about hers, been defensive, deflective, and just very cold in her responses and withholding a lot of information. I cannot respect that. I am angry, but I can no longer hold on to this the way that I have and to let it get in the way of my work and my purpose here. But I really, really wanted to share my story to really bring awareness to this. I have decided I'm no longer remaining silent about this, and the girls are speaking out, and I fully believe that there is power in numbers. I hope one of you guys can learn from my experience and be very careful with these talent agencies. Know who you are signing to. This can be a very money hungry, vicious industry. Please protect yourself. This is not the only agency that has done something like this, and I'm sure not the last.
Not made aware that this man was married. He did not move like he was married from the beginning. He moved like a single man. Did not wear a wedding ring. Okay, so story time. I'm gonna make a quick disclaimer though before I do share the story. I am in no way scorned or hurt about what happened. Only reason I'm sharing the story is because I know dating is very, very hard these days. I know how that world was before I got with the person that I was with, and I was very aware of that, okay? I'm more so coming on here to tell you guys, when you are dating, make sure you vet out people properly. Do not, and this goes for not just women, this goes for men too. You need to vet out the people that you are allowing in your life, that you are choosing to be in your orbit. You need to make sure you vet them out properly. You need to make sure that when they are telling you things, that is what it is, that it is the truth. You need to fact check. And if we want to get deeper into it, I'll be honest, and this is not for the crazies. If you are an obsessed person, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but you need to be doing a background check on everybody that you date. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you don't know what the life that people have had before you. You don't know who they are as a person, right? They're telling you who they are as a person, but you don't really know, right? And these are people that you're allowing into your life, and you're allowing them around your family. You're allowing them around your friends and possibly even your kids if you have them, okay? And so, again, do not do a background check if you're a crazy person. This is not to be stalking nobody. I'm just saying that I think it's best for everybody to do, men and women, because there are men that lie out here and there also are women that do the exact same thing. And before I get into the story, I do want to do a huge shout out to Austin. He is the best friend of 20 years of someone who I was just dating, someone who I was in a relationship with, and without him, I wouldn't have known any of this. Austin is also a bodyguard in LA. I was dating a person and in a relationship with someone. This is someone that I call my boyfriend since January. We met on Threads. His name is Jimmy Nelson. First name is James, but he goes by Jimmy. We met on Threads early in January, hit it off, FaceTime the exact same night that we were exchanging messages. And he pretty much was just upfront with me. We had a lot of things in, we were compatible in just a lot of areas. And I just appreciated him because I feel like in dating, you don't have people who are just upfront and just real and honest. And I felt like that was him, right? And he was very serious about what he wanted in life. He's about to be a therapist in May, but he is in a master's program to be a therapist. This is someone who is actually giving people counseling, who's giving people therapy, okay? So I'm saying that because once I tell this story, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why is he even a therapist? The entire relationship went great. And like I said, he was a very serious person from the start. He was, I guess we can use the words, and everybody loves to use them, intentional. He did have 2 kids. He did want to be upfront. He said, I do want to be married. I'm looking for something serious in my life. And he told me that from the get-go, okay? So that's how he moved throughout the entire relationship. Very intentional. I did go visit him in San Diego, which is where he lived. And by the way, he is from San Diego, originally from Long Beach, but he does venture out like around LA and stuff like that. So it was a long distance relationship, and I went to go see him in San Diego. Again, hit it off just like we did over the phone. And from that day that we first met, we FaceTime all day, text all day. I would even be on the phone with him while he was putting his kids to bed, okay? I would be on FaceTime with him. Which again is not going to make sense when I actually tell you what Austin told me, okay? Austin reached out, and this is when my life flipped around in 48 hours. Austin reached out to me, and what was it? Actually, early this morning. I was already starting to find stuff out, but he pretty much set it off for me because I would have never known. He told me, I just want to let you know that Jimmy is married. Jimmy is married. He has been married. I was at the wedding. I can send you proof of the photos. I can send you their Facebook profiles, him and his wife. And he went on again to tell me that Jimmy also has a 3rd child. And I said, a 3rd child? And he said, yes. He had this baby 3 to 4 months ago. So when I do the math again, he got into a relationship with me, already had a wife. She was pregnant during that time. And then you had a baby about 3-4 months ago. So you had a child while we were together. And then when I look back, and I knew for a fact that he was telling me the truth, because when I look back, I remember, like I told you, me and this man had FaceTimed, texted all day, everything. Even while he was in school, he's doing his internships, while he's doing homework. We communicated all day long. That was the very first day I remember we did not communicate that day. And then when I texted him, I said, hey, I haven't heard from you all day. What are you doing? He said, sorry, I've been at the hospital. And I said, are you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. He said he was at the hospital all day, right? That was the exact same day that he had his baby with his wife, his 3rd baby. Again, I did not and was not made aware that this man was married. He did not move like he was married from the beginning. He moved like a single man. Did not wear a wedding ring. And usually you can kind of tell when people have rings on or have been wearing rings. They have that tan like line on their ring finger. It wasn't giving that. We literally spent an entire week. And by the way, his wife does live in San Diego. They don't live in the same I guess he lives in like a duplex. She lives in an apartment. So they don't live together, okay? I would even be on FaceTime with him while he's dropping his kids off. And he would tell me about their co-parenting schedules. I would be on FaceTime with his kids, okay? I've met his kids, everything. This is why this makes the situation like 20 times more crazier. When I would go to California, we would spend an entire week together. Like I said, it never gave wife, okay? He would even answer in his Tesla. He would answer over the speaker with his kid's mom on the phone, okay? At the time, that's what I thought. This is just his kid's mom. He would say, oh, you know, I'm doing this and I'll be back this day and I'll get the kids. So I don't know if they were separated or not, but you're still married, so you're still lying. And you still, again, had a baby with this woman, okay? And again, the reason why I'm telling this story is not on here to air out dirty laundry or my business, because there's a lot of people that know that I'm very reserved on here. A lot of people know that I don't even come on here to talk, okay? You probably never even heard my voice. But I'm telling you this because this needs to be used as an example, okay? So again, back to the story. Austin tells me every single thing. He also tells me that he has been involved with other women. The past couple of weeks, I've been noticing things were off in our relationship, not communicating as much. And last week, out of nowhere, he tells me, he went to a family reunion, he tells me, I came back outside and 3 of my tires were slashed, okay? Instantly, I read the message. I start looking like this. Okay, so we already know the old trick in the book. A scorned woman usually slashes tires. You slash 3 tires because you know insurance is not going to cover it. I'm not an idiot. So I'm like, okay, this is intentional. So who do you think slashed your tires? And he said, well, I don't know. My Tesla didn't pick it up. The cameras didn't pick it up. I was like, okay. I just let that slide. But again, I'm looking at you like you're crazy because I'm not an idiot. There is a woman who intentionally slashed her tires because of a reason, and you gave her a reason. And I'm not saying that slashing tires is okay. Don't go out there slash people's tires. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch other people's property. But there's a reason why she did it. And now that I'm thinking, she probably did it because she found out that he was married and had another kid. You probably did the same thing to her that you did to me. Did it because she found out that he was married and had another kid. You probably did the same thing to her that you did to me. So yeah, he pretty much just tells me he's been sleeping with this woman. And even at his cousin's repast a couple weeks ago, his cousin recently passed, he FaceTimed me at his cousin's repast, and they were all outside eating. He had been drinking, and he just FaceTimed me to say, it's like, I just want to let you know, like, thank you for being there for me. I love you. And he was telling me that he had been drinking, so he was, you know, a little drunk. Austin tells me at that repast, Austin showed up, and there were women that were there fighting over him. This man was trying to sleep. His cousin just passed away. You're trying to sleep with your cousin, your male cousin's girlfriend. This was his girlfriend at the time that he passed away. You're trying to sleep with your cousin that just passed away. He said it was his favorite cousin. You're trying to sleep with his girlfriend? That's insane to me. And again, I'll be honest, I don't really care about that. I went and got checked. I'm good. I will continue to go get checked to make sure I don't have anything. The reason why I'm telling this story, though, is because you think you know what you know about people and you don't know shit at all. You think you know what you know and you don't know anything. People will get over on you. They will they will be strategic with you, and you don't know what the hell is going on. And this entire time, this man has not given me any clue that I would have ever thought. He was so good. And like I said, he's a therapist, so he knows his way with words, super articulate. He's very well spoken, okay? You can tell he's very educated just by the way he talks. So he knew what he was saying. He knew all the right words to say. But because I didn't vet him out, because I took things as face value, this is where I end up. And again, I don't want anyone thinking because I'm trying to tell this story that I want sympathy. I don't want, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I don't want that from anybody. Don't DM me saying that, actually. I'm telling this story because you should vet the people out that you want in your life. because there's situations like this. And I'm telling every woman that he has been with in LA, San Diego, all over California, go get checked, please, because you don't know if this man, we use condoms, but, and again, that's too TMI because I don't like sharing my business, right? That's way too TMI, but I'm just saying that I don't know if he hasn't used condoms with other women. I don't know that, but he's probably slept with so many different women, and who knows in the span that we've been dating. And you can also say like, oh, this is why you shouldn't do long distance relationship. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you're in a long distance relationship with someone or you're close with them. You don't know what that person, like, cheating is not a one-way, a one-size-fits-all. You don't know, or just directed to like one area. Anyone can cheat at any time. You have people that go to work and they cheat. And again, this is not a situation to where I'm going to listen to comments or have people message me talking about men and men bashing. I'm not saying any of this to bash men. I'm not saying any of this to bash women. This is just real life and the shit that people can go through. And I want you guys, again, to vet out the people that you date and not think that what they're saying is 100% true, because situations like this can happen. And you guys are again are probably wondering about, like, why would his friend of 20 years betray him? Why would Austin do that to him? Austin has been his friend for 20 years, and he told me that during that time that they had been on and off, and he has now reached the point to where he is fed up with his bullshit. He's like, he's done. He said, I don't want anything to do with it anymore, and I'm going to be honest and tell the truth, because I shouldn't have, he said, I shouldn't have, as a friend, allowed this man to do what he has done to women, and I'm not ever going to let this happen again. And from this day forward, we will never be friends. Was not made aware that this man was married. He did not move like he was married from the beginning. He moved like a single man. Yes, if everyone is wanting to ask, did you reach out to the wife? I reached out to the wife. I reached out to the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law responded, and he honestly said his jaw was on the floor. He could not believe that Jimmy, he thought that a good man was marrying his sister, and he could not believe that he would do this to his sister, and especially since they just had a baby. He could not believe it. And the wife has not responded. I'm pretty sure she knows because her brother knows. But I also want to add the kicker. When I confronted Jimmy about him having a wife and him having another child, him and his mom, I think her name was like Cayenne, she lives in LA. They called me to threaten me to not tell. And they threatened me. She said, if you continue to confront him about it, in which, yes, you're my boyfriend, I am going to confront you about it. And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm not a person that's just gonna be like, oh, well, I'll just drop it. No, because you have wasted my time for 7 months. And not only that, you were sleeping with numerous amount of women. You could have gave me something. Did he ever have you be on the phone with his kids?
Yes. He just took them to the movies last week. Or the week before last week, and I was on FaceTime with them.
Oh, wow. And I don't play that. I've never once got an STD in my life, and I never want one. And honestly, if I ever get one, I'm probably going to end up in jail. I don't play that. I don't play about my health, and we're not going to sit here and play with people. Like, I don't do that. So yes, I am going to tell the wife, and she should know everything, because at the end of the day, this is a man who was planning on leaving his wife to come live with me, to marry me. And it's like, do you think this reminds me of the episode? I don't know if you guys have watched The Polygamist off Netflix, but this is what this reminds me of. You thought you were married, had 3 kids, and you're about to come and live with me in Arkansas or move to Texas with me? That was never going to work. So again, I am still optimistic about the situation. I don't want anyone thinking that because this happened to me that, oh, she's probably going to be scorned. She's probably, not going to want to date men. No, this does not change my mindset on dating, on life. I am not traumatized from this situation. I think I am disappointed because I thought I have to look at this person a different way now. Like someone who I loved and I cared about, I have to look at you in a different way. However, I'm still very optimistic And I know for a fact that the situation is not going to change my mindset about anything. About men, I've witnessed good men. I've been around good men. I know that I'm going to get what I want out of life. And that's how you have to look at it. When situations like this happen to you, you have to know that it's not going to break me. Like, you're not breaking me. You probably thought that, oh, you know, I traumatized this woman. You did not. I think that, again, I look at the situation differently. And like I said, I just know for a fact that I'm going to get what I want out of life. And I'm not going to let this change me because it happened to me. And I don't allow life to just happen to me. I know I can get through anything, and the situation didn't change me at all, but again, it was just something that I was wanting people to know and warn women. If you live in any of those areas, please go get checked, and please know this man has a brand new baby and a wife.